All right, let's answer the question. What is a disciple? Just like many of the words in the Bible, people take a word, they take a concept, and they confuse it with something that the Bible didn't intend for it to be. For instance, the word disciple has been confused as someone who's just a Christian, someone who goes to church, someone who knows how to pray, or someone who reads the Bible. But according to the Bible, there's so much more to being a disciple than just going to church. There's so much more to being a disciple than just bearing the title of being a Christian. And the word disciple means to be a follower and a learner. Let's dig a little deeper in these next few minutes right here. The disciples spent so much time with Jesus. They were with him. They were following after something. And Jesus assured them time and time again that, hey, you can follow me. You can trust that by following me, you will look just like me. So really the disciples were not just disciples because they spent time around Jesus, they were in his proximity, but the disciples were disciples because they spent time training and they spent time where there was room for exchange with the disciples and Jesus. He modeled the life before them. And in doing so, he was rubbing something off on them. He was imparting something in them. He was training, shaping, disciplining, and fashioning them to be something set apart from the world. So to be a disciple essentially means to be just like Jesus. There are Christians who aren't disciples. There are people who go to church and pray and read the Bible that aren't disciples. There's a scripture that says that you are indeed my disciples if you continue in my word and obey my word. So there are Christians who don't read the word and don't obey the words of Jesus. They aren't disciples. But a disciple is someone who reads the word, who obeys the word and applies the word in their lives. The disciple is someone who prays. We saw that Jesus prayed, that all the things that Jesus did, the disciple is someone who is to fashion their lives after Jesus, to look just like Jesus, to be shaped and to be formed and to be molded into the image of Christ. Romans 8:29 says this. It says, for those whom he foreknew, he predestined to be conformed into the image of his dearly beloved Son. And to be a disciple means this: to live, to think, to fashion, and shape your life in such a way where the end goal, the finished product, is to look just like Jesus. Jesus said this right here. He said, a disciple indeed is not above his master, but his disciple is to look just like the master. My favorite type of movies are kung fu movies, martial arts movies. And these people in these movies, a disciple, a learner, a follower, would take someone who is deemed as a master, who has something, who lives in such a way that is completely foreign to their type of lifestyle. And they say, that's what I'm following. That's what I want to look like. I'm going to discipline myself until the end goal, the finished product, is that I will look just like the master. And as a Christian, as a believer, as a disciple, we're to look just like Jesus in every aspect, in every regard, in every way of life. The way we treat people, the way we treat fellow believers is to be just like Jesus. That's what a disciple is.